How Genghis Khan accidentally invented climate change solutions. What's up, history lovers? Imagine if Elon Musk decided to solve climate change by conquering half the world and accidentally creating the largest carbon offset program in human history. Well, that's basically what happened 800 years ago, except instead of Twitter and electric cars, we had horses and composite bows. Today we're talking about how Genghis Khan, history's most successful land grabber, accidentally became the world's first eco-warrior. And trust me, his methods would make Greta Thunberg look like she's playing it safe. The Great Forest Recovery Project. Here's something they don't teach you in history class. When Genghis Khan's armies rolled through civilizations, they didn't just conquer cities. They accidentally started the world's largest reforestation program. The Mongol conquests killed so many people that massive areas of previously farmed land simply went back to nature. We're talking about 700 million acres, that's roughly the size of Argentina, returning to forest and grassland. Scientists estimate this removed about 700 million tons of carbon from the atmosphere. To put that in perspective, that's equivalent to taking every car off the road for an entire year. Genghis Khan was basically running a medieval carbon capture program, except instead of technology he used, well, conquest and demographic collapse. The Mongols weren't trying to save the planet. They were just really good at emptying it. The original sustainable nomads. Now here's where it gets interesting. The Mongols themselves were basically the poster children for sustainable living, and they didn't even know it. Think about it. They lived in portable houses that could be assembled in 30 minutes. They ate locally sourced food, whatever their herds provided. They had minimal possessions and left virtually no permanent environmental footprint. The Mongols were living the minimalist lifestyle that modern influencers charge 200 courses to teach you. Their entire economy was based on what we'd now call regenerative agriculture. They moved their herds seasonally, allowing grasslands to recover. No pesticides, no industrial farming, no massive methane-producing feedlots. Just sustainable pastoralism that had worked for thousands of years. But here's the kicker. Their low-impact lifestyle made them incredibly effective at warfare. Light, fast, adaptable. Turns out environmental sustainability and military dominance aren't mutually exclusive. The accidental carbon trading system. The Mongols created something that wouldn't look out of place in a modern climate summit. The world's first intercontinental carbon trading network. Except they called it international trade and used horses instead of spreadsheets. Under Mongol rule, the Silk Road became incredibly efficient. Safe passage, standardized currency, diplomatic immunity for merchants. Goods that previously required multiple middlemen could now move directly from China to Europe. This reduced the carbon footprint of international trade by eliminating redundant journeys and unsafe routes that forced longer detours. One caravan under Mongol protection could do the work of 5 separate risk-averse trading expeditions. Plus, they were inadvertent technology transfer champions. Chinese gunpowder, Islamic mathematics, European metallurgy, all flowing freely across their empire. This knowledge sharing accelerated innovation in ways that would make modern open-source advocates proud. The Mongols basically invented just-in-time logistics 700 years before Toyota. Efficient trade routes, reduced waste, optimized resource allocation. They were running the medieval equivalent of Amazon Prime, except with more horses and occasional world conquest. The population-controlled solution. Now we have to address the elephant in the room. The Mongols' environmental impact came with a pretty significant ethical asterisk. They killed an estimated 40 million people. This is where their climate solution gets uncomfortably dark. Fewer people meant less agriculture, less deforestation, less carbon emissions. But obviously, genocide isn't exactly what we'd call a sustainable environmental policy. It's like if someone proposed solving traffic congestion by eliminating half the drivers. Technically effective, morally horrifying, and definitely not something you'd put in a UN climate report. The scientific reality is that the Mongol conquests created a measurable dip in atmospheric CO2 levels that lasted for centuries. Medieval climate data shows a cooling period that correlates directly with the demographic collapse in conquered territories. But here's what's fascinating. When populations eventually recovered, they often did so with better agricultural techniques, improved city planning, and more efficient resource use. The Mongols accidentally forced a reset that led to innovation. It's the ultimate example of creative destruction, except the creativity came after the destruction, and nobody was planning it as an environmental strategy. The lasting environmental legacy. So what's the final environmental scorecard for history's most successful conqueror? It's complicated. The Mongol Empire's environmental policies, if we can call them that, included massive reforestation, sustainable nomadism, efficient trade networks, and inadvertent carbon sequestration. On paper, it sounds like an environmentalist's dream. But they achieved this through methods that would make any reasonable person say, maybe we should try a different approach. It's like discovering that meteor impacts are great for biodiversity, technically true, but not exactly a policy recommendation. The real lesson isn't that we should emulate Mongol conquest tactics. It's that human impact on the environment is incredibly powerful, both destructive and restorative. The Mongols proved that when human pressure is removed, nature recovers remarkably quickly. Those 700 million acres of reforested land happened in just a few decades after the conquests. Today's environmental movement is basically trying to achieve what the Mongols did accidentally: reduce human environmental impact and let nature regenerate, except with informed consent and significantly fewer casualties. So there you have it, Genghis Khan, accidentally history's most effective climate activist, using methods that would definitely get him banned from the Paris Climate Accord. Maybe the real lesson is that saving the planet doesn't require conquering it, just treating it with the respect the Mongols accidentally gave it when they were too busy conquering everything else. If you enjoyed learning about history's most unintentional environmentalist, smash that subscribe button and check out our other videos. Thanks for watching.